This is the Russian Dynamite, Masha Slamovich.
Becca here.
This is not America's Sweetheart, Davian.
It's Billy Starks. And
the super fly guy, Trayvon Jordan.
This is the fly side flyer, Jalen Brandon.
Hardcore Princess, Jules Malone.
Hi there, this is the Bubblegum Princess, Alexia Nicole.
This is the Brazilian Wonder Woman, Christy James.
This is the baddest black belt, Chennai Kai.
This is Kid Bandit.
The smash hit Joel Bateman.
This is Robin Renegade.
Cody Hawk.
Brutal Bob Evans. And you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, one of my favorite podcasts in the whole wide world.
This is the Villanova Casanova, Kit Osbourne, and you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today, interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I am, of course, your host, James J., flying solo for the moment, but it's still a great day for wrestling, because we are wrestling with Kit Osbourne.
How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, right now we're recording this on a Monday, and it feels every bit of a Monday. But I'm not doing too bad at all.
All right, and I know you feel better when you're actually back in the ring. When is that?
Well, I mean, the next thing I got going on is not this weekend, next weekend with H2O. I don't know exactly what I have planned, but I'll be at H2O for next week, and then also I think at the end of the month as well is what I have planned, and then I think I have a couple shows in New York. So if you're out in the New York City area, between the middle of August to the end of it, that's where I'll be. I'm sweating my balls off because for some reason, and I don't know if you know this, but in like Brooklyn, New York, they just don't believe in air conditioning. So I'm just, so I'll be there just melting away on the streets of Brooklyn.
I know that they don't have air conditioning in Queens, at least, because my co-host is from New York and he's not allowed to have an actual air conditioner, and he just has a fan.
How does he survive? Like, I just don't. I had a span of like 3 shows, between June and July in Brooklyn, and I was in Queens, in that area, more in Astoria, but I just can't understand it. It just smells like pizza everywhere, and then it's just people that, like, any store that I walk into, it's just them with like a little fan against their face.
Yeah, I mean, imagine being in California. Right now it's 96 degrees, but with humidity, you add an extra 14 degrees.
I mean, that's surprising. I didn't know that it would be like that. I mean, here, I'm in Philly, and it gets humid. Today it's only in the 80s, but I mean, it's there. We have our good and bad days, but it's like if the people that live in like San Diego, man, like every day is just perfect for them. It'd be like the best job to be a weatherman.
Well, surprisingly enough, my other co-host is from San Diego, so if he gets in here, he will either deny or confirm that.
But yeah, anyways, that's what I have going on, and with H2O in this coming month, and I might have a couple no-ring death matches in the Brooklyn area.
All right, and where can we find you on social media? All things Kit Osbourne.
I have it all. I got the Instagram all at Kit Osbourne. Twitter at Kit Osbourne, and I also have podcasts of my own, Uncorked with Kit, and that's on Spotify.
And merchandise?
I have shirts available right now. Really, it's just if you got to message me, you got to get me at my shows. And then I also have two other shirts that are coming out that I'm actually going to advertise on my Instagram. A new design that I really just fell in love with. So I'm excited for that, and hopefully everybody else likes that too.
Alright, and all of those links will be in the description of the video below, but on YouTube, Castbox, Google Podcast, everything in between. And there's really no reason not to follow Kit and see when those sweet new t-shirts are coming out.
Yeah, the only reason you wouldn't want to follow me is if you hate cursing, and you don't like somebody being like the most negative person on the planet. So,
Well, as I speak to you right now, your name in the chat is Kit fucking Osbourne.
Well, that's what you get for giving me the option.
Hey, I'm not mad at it. Now, you, like you said, you work for H2O. Can you tell us about your relationship with the company?
I've known Matt Tremont for my entire career, and we both kind of started around the same time. I didn't start doing death matches until like 2017, and and then it's like a drug. You're addicted to it because it's, I don't know, something about that glass and bleeding that is just, you wouldn't know it, but it takes over, and that becomes a part of you. I'm just deathmatch wrestling. It's the stigma that that's what you get known for after you start doing it. But I think it's a little bit different now. My relationship with Matt, at CZW, up until the point where I finally quit. I finally quit the company, because they're just treating me terribly, for my entire career. And I guess I just didn't even know better until I finally listened to the right people, and actually finally listened to them. And H2O was a promotion that's close by, in Jersey, in Williamstown, New Jersey, and he started his thing, and I guess I fit a mold, and it became like my new home for a while. Up until last August when I broke my ankle. You would see me there, and I would be like a staple in that company. And then from the last year, I've just kind of been in and out, among like a lot of doing other things. But after recovering, and probably now, it's almost going to be on the 13th of this month is going to be a whole year from breaking my ankle. And I think only finally is it like back to complete normal. So you'll probably be seeing me a lot more.
Yeah, what happened with your ankle?
I was doing a baseball slide out of the ring, and it was for JCW. And I was trying to do a baseball slide out of the ring and grab somebody's foot, and pull them, right? And what I had done, I didn't have really enough, like that much room to work with, so I tried to go on the other side, and I realized I've never done a baseball slide on my left leg, doing it like that. So I kind of just spiked my own foot into the ground, and it broke in 3 places. I get out of the ring, and I don't really know what the hell's going on, and I'm looking at it. It's kind of like a limp noodle, and I'm trying to step on it, and I'm like, I just can't do it. Like, this is so weird. It doesn't hurt, I just couldn't figure it out what the hell was wrong, and then I I realized real quick that it was broken. I couldn't walk, and then I just kind of did the whole X, like I'm out. I can't go back in. So, I broke it in 3 places. I was in like New Jersey, and, closer to New York, and then I had to go to ER there, and I had to get surgery. And a couple weeks later, and I was almost bedridden. It seemed like for like 2 months, where I can't walk at all. So it was a little uphill battle, and but, so I learned real quick that I can't do a baseball slide on my other side, so never gonna do that again.
Yes, definitely. But I'd like to know, was you was in a hospital in New York? Was there air conditioner?
Yes, there were. Yes, there was.
But was that kind of like a discouraging time for you? Just breaking your
Uh,
ankle?
yeah, I mean, it like I had a lot ahead, and um, it obviously it's like everything just shuts down. Every booking and everything that you have going for you is over. At least for that time being. That's a lot of income that you're out.
Right.
And I had a lot of great support from a lot of people, but it does still at the same time make you feel like, you got nothing. And like that, it's like that initial, like, oh, I'm so sorry this happened. People checking in on you, it slowly fades away, and then, you realize how it doesn't necessarily matter what you've done. If you're not doing anything, you're getting easily forgotten. And then when I came back, it definitely seemed like it was more of a struggle than ever. Bookings, are it was a short and far between. So, trying to build a character, and get your, just to build that
Momentum.
that backing that you have. Yeah, that momentum is really hard when you can't get a start.
Right. But you was back 3 months later. You had your first match back 3 months after breaking your ankle, correct?
Yeah. 3 months later, I wrestled for GCW at NGI, and that was important. I don't think that it went the way I wanted it to. Sorry about that ambulance here.
Oh, no
But
worries.
I feel like it just wants to pull up to my fucking house. Alright. uh, so it was great to get that opportunity. It just didn't work out the way it was supposed to. I was supposed to wrestle. I thought it was kind of stupid, but it changed from that to a mystery, and I'm like, okay, so the guy who hasn't wrestled in 3 months doesn't have, technically speaking, like he doesn't have time to prepare for his first match
Right.
because he's going to be wrestling a surprise. like okay, and then it obviously it ended up being Schlack and also Charlie Evans, who I found out like that day.
They really drew you into the fire with that, right?
Yeah, so it was it was a little bit of a mess, and it didn't get the that it didn't get really what I wanted out of it. I wasn't even really advertised, and I think on commentary they barely mentioned when I came back from injury. So, I mean, things like that happen in wrestling. So it is what it is. And then from there, it just didn't seem like it got that much of a, momentum. But that was November of last year, and this year since then, I mean, it's been slowly building back up. That I'm on point wrestling champion,
Yes.
which this month actually as well. I believe I have that. I'll be defending my title again, and I've had it since where I've gotten to wrestle Matt Tremont, Jimmy Lloyd, and the Black G's, and big names, and I think that's definitely helped me a lot. I definitely love that company On Point. They have something really really big running, and I think it's definitely a promotion that more and more people should check out.
And just continuing on that, you beat Mike Law to win the OPW title. Can you tell us about the match and what it meant to you to win that title, to kind of push and get that momentum back in your favor?
It was, I mean, Mike Law is amazing. He's such a good guy, and he's so talented as well. And I'm sorry I didn't drop his name because I was talking about defending the title.
Oh no, Mike Law's a friend.
But he, originally it was supposed to be John Wayne Murdoch and I, and he got COVID, so he didn't go. Mike Law stepped it up. First death match ever. I'm obviously I'm proud to be able to say I was his first. I think he definitely stepped it the fuck up. And I definitely didn't pull any punches on him. I would welcome to deathmatch wrestling, Mike.
Right.
And he kept with it. And there was no bitching about nothing. And I thought we told a great story. Obviously, it came out on top, and to get it for like the second time is important. I mean, I had first beat Drew Blood for it, a couple of years ago, and then I lost it against Gage, Nick Gage, in a first blood match that turned into a regular match because he just goes by whatever the fuck rules he wants. And I just have to sit there grooving on it.
I feel like Nick Gage was never not bleeding.
No, yeah, and he's always at like 100, And I talk to him almost every day, and that guy is amped up all the time, 0 to 100. So I mean, he's one of the best. That's the reason why he's one of the best in the world, and having an opportunity to wrestle him, like one of my absolute favorites, and then later on come back, win it again. The only thing that would come full circle is if you wanted to try and win that title back again.
That's what I was going to mention. Is there a little unfinished business there? Because he did beat you for the title, he vacated it, and then, lo and behold, it's back to you.
Yeah, I mean, I of course I think it is. I know that he's kind of strictly with GCW right now, for the time being. But I think if you and I do it anyway. But I mean, if you poke at him enough, things always can change. If there was obviously like the way I see it is the only legitimate, the only way that I would legitimize my title run this time around is if I were to wrestle Gage and be able to defend it again and get the W. So if that opportunity ever happens, I don't know. But if he did and he ever decided, all things would come full circle, and it would definitely be a great story.
Alright. Now, you're very prominent in deathmatch wrestling. Is there something you won't do in a deathmatch, or something you did do that you said never again?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of fire. I think that's way too unpredictable, and that's definitely not my scene, Plus, I have long hair, and that shit's gonna just burn right off. So I'm not interested in fire at all. So I think if there's anything that I won't do, it's that. There's definitely a lot of different things, like like a cactus, for example. Like I don't really have much interest in that, but that doesn't mean that I wouldn't take it. I mean, I'm terrified of heights, and I've decided to climb a scaffold and fall onto a barbed wire trampoline. So I guess really, I mean, anything can happen. But fire, I think, is where that's where my limit is. Maybe not this lifetime.
The thing that really interested me was a cactus. Who's using a cactus right now?
Oh, dude, some of those stupid deathmatch artists from the South love it. They probably do it all the time. They like go to, I don't even know where you get one, but they always just find something stupid like that. And that's a terrible. That does not feel good at all. There's no way to prepare yourself for that.
I could imagine.
It's like some cartoon shit.
Roadrunner, Wile E. Coyote-esque things.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, there you go. They got it from Acme.
Yeah, you got it from Acme.
Now, while you were out with injury, you did commentary for hybrid wrestling. Did you kind of have a moment of reflection or learn something being outside of the ring, looking in, so to speak?
That's a good question. I do. I think, you know, when it's all said and done, and I don't think I can do this anymore, or I think it's smart not to. You know, I don't see myself ever being able to just get out of wrestling ever. I love this shit way too much, and I think that commentary, you know, at least I think I'm good at it. I've got, you know, if I get asked to do it again, then I guess that means I'm doing an okay job. But I certainly enjoyed that and like getting a different, you know, I've just never thought of myself as like being a promoter. But you know, individually, I think me as like a commentator, I don't see, maybe not as an announcer, but I mean, I do the podcast Uncorked with Kit. You know, and I love doing it, and I think entertaining with. I mean, at the end of the day, most people know me from my promos, and you know, I definitely don't like shutting the fuck up. So I think putting me on commentary would probably be my best bet. And I always thought of it like joking around, like, you know, if I was a ref right now, if I just cut my hair and I just decided to wear the zebra stripes or whatever, I'd probably be signed by now.
No, I think, you know, first of all, I love that, you know, this is a Pope job for you. You know, you're not going to look for anything else that outside of pro wrestling.
Right.
And,
yeah.
Oh, continue.
Oh, no, I was agreeing. I definitely don't see myself, and I don't see myself, you know, retiring anytime soon either. I feel, you know, right now I feel great, you know, after doing this for so long. You know, I just hope to, you know, build and create more moments. So, you know, at least in terms of moving on, like, I don't plan on doing that anytime soon, unless somebody puts me out. But, yeah, that next stage in life, I'm not really thinking about it. You know, this is probably the most I've ever thought about it, like, just because you're asking. But you know, in the back of my mind, I think I'll have some involvement in it, and it might be, you know, it might be that next calling, you know, to really get me to a higher level. So we'll see. You know, when we go down that road. But, you know, as for now, I still like falling off of shit and bleeding to death, so.
Alright, now, I'm a big buildings guy. You know, Madison Square Garden, Rosemont Horizon, Staples Center, and one of the most underappreciated, maybe one of the most historical buildings, is the 2300 Arena.
Yeah.
And you trained in there and then finally got to compete in there as well. What was that experience like, and was you able to take in that moment?
Well, yeah, training there, you know, knowing the significance of it from the very beginning, you know, when I started, you know, already puts it in, you know, this high regard. Way, you know, to South Philly from where I lived as a kid, and I would train there at CZW at a company that I was watching for like the last 4 or 5 years prior to that. You know, going to shows like every weekend, waiting in line with all the fans, and being like a huge wrestling fan, and then having the opportunity to train there. You know, learn from guys like Drew Gulak, and then finally get an opportunity there to wrestle, even if it was like at a small, you know, a small job match, you know, to ever actually wrestling there at Cage of Death, you know, and then for MLW being able to main event the 2300 arena is it's really something that not many people get to say, and I'm definitely super proud of it. I think those are moments that I'll be able to look back on, and because right now, anytime I look back and I think of things I've done, I don't think I don't think about it as often because I'm too anxious and worried about what the next thing I can do is.
Right.
Whereas right now it's like, to sit here and go back and talk about how I got to train at this famous arena that people dreamed of being able to just visit, and I've gotten to wrestle there and main event there, and I think that's that's something to definitely be proud of.
Is it kind of like a full circle moment to train the first day in the 2300 arena, and then however long afterwards get the main event in the same building?
I wouldn't say it's something that goes like full circle. When I trained, like I did get to wrestle there, and I got to, I would when I first started, and I'm just jobbing, and I'm just, having matches where I'm not allowed to have any offense in because during that time it's just like, hey, let's, if you were, it never really mattered if somebody was good or talented right away. It's just not the way wrestling was.
Right.
Where you just can do whatever you want, or you can, if you're good and then they give you the ball, like, they just don't do that. And I'm glad things are different now. But I had my opportunities like right away to wrestle at the arena, and it didn't make it any less special. But now, now having main evented it, and it's definitely like a cool moment to think back on. But I wouldn't say it just goes all full circle. Like, and this is what we play for, because at the end of the day, like, what I want to do is, if you want to wrestle at a major arena every Monday night, and then that's always the dream.
Alright. Now, like I said, my co-host is from New York, and he would absolutely kill me if I did not bring this up.
Okay.
You worked for the NYWC. That's where he trained and got his start in professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Could you tell us about your experience in the NYWC?
I had gone there a few times there, and obviously it was a great talent to come out of there. I like that building. What is it in Bigham? What is it? The city that it's in?
Ooh.
Yeah, like it starts with a B, and I always
kill me
forget.
now.
Yeah, but I always like that venue, and I always had a fun time there. So I mean, yeah, they treated me really well, and that last time I wrestled there was 2017, and I wrestled DJ Hyde.
That's an interesting opponent, no? What was that experience getting in there with DJ Hyde? Because I know you kind of had a love-hate relationship, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, I mean, because of him is the reason probably why I have like trust issues in wrestling. I learned a lot from DJ. However, it just seems like the only reason I ever got any opportunity was from word of mouth of everybody else just going, why don't you give him the fucking ball? Why don't you why aren't you using Kit? Why don't you use Kit? And then, and it kind of forced his hand to do it, but it always seems like there's just something that he would do to just kind of hold me back. So, yeah, there's definitely a little resentment towards him. But, every time I've ever wrestled him, I've never had a bad time wrestling DJ Hyde. I think, as much shit as he does get, there are reasons why he deserves it, but then there are things that like he doesn't. So I I think, when it comes to working with DJ, I've always had like a good match, and I've never not enjoyed it. You know, if there's anything, is he absolutely does love pro wrestling, and and you can't take that away from him. So I mean, my experience at CZW is one thing. I haven't seen DJ and shit. I haven't seen him since that was like 2019, I guess. So that's when I quit, I think. So I haven't seen him since.
Alright. And it's great that, you can take the good with the bad as well. Because not everybody usually has that outlook.
Fuck him here.
Huh?
Fuck that. But I just, it's not worth it.
Absolutely. Could you tell us about TreeFuck Lee?
I mean, he's a unique guy. I'll tell you that. For No Peace Underground, I was cutting all these promos, to get prepared for WrestleMania weekend in Tampa, and I they wanted me to just cut all these different promos of me imitating other wrestlers, and TreeFuck Lee. I just I don't know. I just bought a bunch of shit that I thought would be stuff that he'd wear, and I just kind of cut a promo the way I thought that he would. He loved it. He thought it was hilarious. He's a good dude. I mean, I don't know what he's doing now, but I wouldn't be surprised. He just kind of came right back. I mean, he's definitely I don't really have the word for it, but he's unique, and I wish that we had a chance to wrestle, but I guess it just didn't work out that way. So which I mean, I haven't been I don't even know what No Peace Underground is doing right now, but it was cool to be there, and then also cut all these promos. At one point for No Peace during that time, they put out a whole, like, all these posters that says no Kit or whatever for No Peace Underground. And then seeing a lot of people leave with that poster to bring home is pretty fucking cool. And I'm not even there. I'm in Philly, and they're doing all this in Orlando. So there's a couple bars in Orlando that I've walked in that have my fucking poster. It says No Kid on it, and I'm just like, oh, look at that. It's fun. That's kind of interesting.
And I don't think we could talk about alter egos without talking about Rip Von Erich, right?
Yeah, geez, there's my whole opportunity of being able to main event at the arena. I got a call or an email from MSL at MLW, and asked me, like, and it was because of, I think, Brett Lauderdale, that they thought I fit this mold to be a fake Von Erich. So what I did was I kind of shaped the character off of Carrie. So I shaved my face. I got a fake spray tan, and I wore trunks for the first time, which I never did. And I doubled up on legs on leg day for it. I actually had my girlfriend at the time make me the tassels to put on the boots, and I just kind of went all out on it. I haven't shaved like my face like that in a long time, but it really worked out. He loved it. Had a really good time with Tom Lawler, and then after that it was supposed to be just a one-off thing, but they liked it a lot, and then they asked me to come back. When they went back to the 2300 arena, and so it's all thanks to the Von Erich character that I got to do that. But Ultra Ego, part of team filthy, and that was fun. I wish it didn't end so quick, but that is what it is. That was a fun time.
For MLW, you was in the Battle Royal, and the title card said Kit Osbourne, but the entrance said Rip Von Erich. What happened there?
So what happened is they already when I first went, everybody knew it's me. I didn't think I have some super name or anything like that people would just go, wow, is Kit Osbourne really just doing this? Doing this? What the fuck is he doing? So I guess too many people, they know who I am, and the next show, they're like, yeah, you're not Rip Von Erich, you're Kit Osbourne. So we're not changing that. That was just a thing that you did that night. So that was that. I get advertised and billed as Kit Osbourne, but then on commentary they don't know what to call me, and I'm just like whatever. So I enjoyed the shit out of that, but I kind of like it better being me. Get my own brand, there. But yeah, that was funny. And then I did the battle riot, and that was fun, especially because Savio Vega is there, and I love Savio Vega. I remember we were to have that little spot opportunity with him was fun. But in the back, it was me and Tom Lawler just kind of poking at him, going to Savio, going, "Hey man, they told us that they wanted you to wear the Nation of Domination gear, and he's just like, oh man, I forgot it." And you're like, dude, come on. Rule number 1 in wrestling, man, you always bring your gear, all right? You got to be prepared. And he's like, I'm sorry, guys, you guys are so great. We'll tell Court, we'll tell Court Bauer that it's we're gonna let it slide this time, something like that. And he was just as nice as can be. So I to go there and do that battle riot was fun as well. And then wrestle against the Von Erichs in a bunkhouse brawl or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. So yeah, that was a damn good time.
Now, is all of this in your autobiography? It's come to this.
Wait, what autobiography?
You have an autobiography called "It's Come to This," which is only just a picture of you on top of a Chris Jericho book.
Oh yeah, that's not. That's not. I don't have any autobiography. I don't think anybody would read it. It'd be really fucking short if it was. I think I just made that up. Let's see. I mean, if enough people wanted it, man, I'll write about myself. But I haven't thought to do that yet.
Right, and of course, keeping on brand, Kit Osbourne Pocket Sand.
Oh yeah, I have. I had to order like a shit ton of those little satchels, right? So I do, and then that's something that I'm selling right now. Kit Osbourne's Pocket Sand.
All right, and that is not available online yet, right?
If you message me online, I accept like all forms of payment. I got it, so but yeah, I'll ship it. You don't have to just wait for me to be at a show. But I'm not on any website or anything like that, so it's just on on my Instagram or Twitter, or Facebook. It's however you want to message me, and we'll and I'll get it. I'll get it to you.
Okay, buy Pocket Sand from Kit Osbourne.
Yeah, buy some sand, man.
Well, I think that brings us to our next segment. Kit Osbourne's Bizarre Adventure. You're a pro wrestler that goes up and down the road, and weird, crazy, and bizarre things are going to happen. Can you tell us a road story that fits that description?
A road story? Alright. This one's from 2016. I was wrestling at what was it? North Carolina. I can't even remember the brand right now. UWF or UWF, something Mid-Atlantic. And it was me, Schlack, Dan O'Hare, Mike Dell, and who else? And somebody else. I always forget. I'm sure if she's ever listening, she'll kill me.
Manic? Maria Manic?
Yeah, no, not Maria Manic. No. Riley Madison. Sorry.
Okay.
And we went to North Carolina, wrestled. We got there, wrestled right away, got our payment, and went out, and we were like just discussing what we wanted to do. And I was, I'm like, I actually, I don't know the last time I was in North Carolina, but all I wanted to do was just go to whatever bar that has like a Confederate flag in the window, because I'm like, this is what I want to see. They want to see this shit. And they're like, well, I mean, I don't really think. And then I like, without even finishing that sentence, like, boom, there it is. There's a bar. There. And just like, there it is. That's our night. And then go in there. It's like, 5 people that just don't fit this mold. And it was everything you ever thought it was. Man, that's just a tame way to put that story. But by the end of it, and we're walking. At the end of it, we're carrying Riley Madison out of the fucking place. I almost get in a fight. I was getting a fight playing pool. Dan O'Hare's doing karaoke, and Schlack is, I don't even know. He's just fitting in. I don't know what he's doing. He's just talking to anybody, and everybody, like, surprisingly enough, like, he's the easiest person to fucking talk to. So, so there's that, and then it's just like, and then Mike Dell, just kind of, I swear to God, he was just being the dad. So, there's that, and I'm fucking, I don't know. But I mean, that was just a one thing that I remember that, like, it sticks with me. I've done a lot, going like Chicago and things like that. Most of the stories I have, or most of the things that happen, I don't remember anymore. But I always had, good time, anywhere it is I'm going. But, there's times where it's 0 fucking degree weather in Chicago, and we're all going outside just to see the Home Alone house, and we're outside in front of it, like, I'm not cold. I'm just thinking about something I really agree with, and, so but being able to travel with some of the my friends, and then get paid to do it is fucking awesome. It was Jimmy Lloyd, or, and being able to, like, travel with Marcus Crane, on his one birthday show. Him and I wrestled in Chicago, and he took me to this one concert, like Riot Fest or something like that, and we got to see the B-52s play. Like, you just all of a sudden you just hear this Rock Lobster being sung, and you're like, what the fuck is? And then you're like, that's the B-52s, and they're close.
I didn't even know they still performed.
So, a lot of good time. Neither did I. I just know they did the Rocco's Modern Life theme song.
Yeah. Alright.
Yeah, so that was pretty damn cool.
Now, can you tell us about Uncorked with Kit?
Absolutely. So I during COVID, I obviously weren't working much, and I thought,
right.
Just having my own podcast like every other wrestler does. And I thought my concept was cool. Like, I drink a lot of wine, and I just thought, well, why don't I do something where, I'll have some talking points here and there, do a little research, and have my own podcast, but it would be me cracking open a bottle of wine. The concept being that the bottle of wine is something that I saw in a store that fits the mold of how I see the person I'm interviewing. So I would get a different bottle of wine each time, and we go at it. And then what's funny is that, man, as as more time goes on, like the course of that hour to hour and a half, I'm starting to just ask the questions like, no, don't ask that question. Now I'm like, yeah, fuck it, ask it, see what happens. I used to do it live on Instagram, and then I thought that, it was a little bit better to just kind of pre-record it like we are now, and then putting it on Spotify, and it's been taken off. I don't do it. I usually do like one a month. I usually do like one a month, two a month. But before I was doing it like once every Wednesday, and then putting it on Instagram Live, and I was just like, this is too much. So, so I mean, be on the lookout for it. I have two of them I already recorded, and I'm going to be uploading them soon.
Who you got?
I did Hello Hard Body, and then I did this other guy. He's a filmmaker, and he used to, we worked with Cinemassacre, the guy that does the Angry Video Game Nerd. I was in a short film with him in like 2014, and we're still friends. Just weren't as close, and I interviewed him. His name is Tony Peluso, and I think this week I'm actually going to be going to his studio, and we're going to be watching SummerSlam 2005. So we're going to watch that.
Ooh, good one.
Yeah, so that'll be a fun one.
All right, and you kind of branching out outside of pro wrestling, because you said he was a filmmaker.
Yeah, so I just thought, just widen up the demographic, So I think, some of the most interesting people, man, that we meet, aren't wrestlers all the, they don't, so I get to work with a lot of different people. I mean, this guy I met doing a short film a few years ago, but he's obviously a big wrestling fan, and I've interviewed the guy that runs WrestleBotch on Instagram, and I'm sure I'm gonna hit up my buddy, who does Kings Road Wrestling. So anybody can be, if you're interesting enough, then I'll have you on my show.
Fingers crossed, I'm interesting enough. But jokes aside, you mentioned the wine, and whatever wine is you feel best resembles that guest. What was the
like
most...
the Bob? Yes.
Huh?
Sorry, go ahead.
What has been the most expensive wine that you had purchased for a guest for the interview?
I paid at the most I've ever paid for a wine. I think it was like 40. It was just $40 for somebody, and I think I honestly don't remember the picture of it. It was just Japanese. It was like a Japanese. It was a sake actually. That's what it was. So and I was like, I don't know why I did that, but that's what I did. And I mean, and I'll tell you what, it fucked me up real bad. So I guess it worked.
I was going to ask, was that for Effie or Lawler?
I think it was Tom Lawler.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom Lawler when I first did it. Yep.
No.
Effie's one of my favorite people that I got to interview, and he's just, I mean, he's wild, but to interview guys like him and these are really my friends, for the most part. It's nice that I get to connect with them, and I'm really, as being the interviewer, I'm asking them questions that things that I probably always wanted to know, but I just never really came in conversation because we're not talking wrestling all the time. We're not talking about how you were brought up in wrestling, what you like, what you don't. So for me to get the opportunity to, with my own friends, to just ask them, the things the things that they like. So it's fun.
Now, pertaining to podcasting and interviewing, What's something you know now about podcasting and interviewing that you didn't know at the start that you really wish you did?
Ask me that one more time. I'm sorry, I had to move.
What's something you know now about interviewing podcasting that you didn't know at the start that you wish you did?
I mean, as I started doing it, you know, I got a little bit more organized as I was. I mean, I would never have started on Instagram Live right away, and because I wasn't pulling people in, you know, I think it was an okay idea to start there, but it's not as it's just like a little unorganized, and it's choppy. You know, the quality's not that good, and you know, and from there, like I got like a nicer microphone. You know, if I do when I do it on video, I have like, you know, a better lighting, and I'm more organized in my questioning. I'm not all over the place where I just kind of, you know, you have to have context. And I you know, and I'm so happy that, you know, you have questions. Like, but I've done so many fucking podcasts in which like the person's just, I don't know what they think. They think like magic, it just happens. Like, I'm just gonna, you know, that we're just gonna have this amazing conversation, but you didn't do any research on me, you know. So I'm just a guy you're talking to on the phone, you know.
Yeah.
And that's it. So, you know, just the make sure that there's no fat in the conversation is what I've learned to do, and I think I've done pretty well with it. So that, and then also try your damnedest to make it less than an hour and a half, because shit, man, I mean, there's only so much that people are going to be able to listen to. I sure as hell know that nobody wants to listen to me for 3 hours, you know. So and certainly, you know, that's the one. Those are the things I've learned. It's just to be more organized and also put yourselves in the shoes of the audience.
And you're absolutely right about that. We try to keep it, you know, an hour and a half, but, you know, sometimes I didn't follow that advice, and we have gone 3 hours with guests.
Yeah, I mean, it can get that way. I had Rob Black on my XPW owner, Rob Black, and I didn't know. I mean, first, he doesn't really do podcasts that often. He has his own, but he doesn't. You know, he doesn't really do them. So when I talked him into doing it, I mean, it was really easy. But I didn't think that we were going to talk for 3 hours and then another hour after that. And I mean, like, I'm fully engaged, and you know, definitely can say, you know, he's a friend of mine now. But I didn't know him at all. I just wrestled for him, and then, you know, and then all of a sudden, you know, here I am, you know, talking over 3 hours, and talking about, you know, his experience in federal prison, and I had to make it a two-parter, just because I know that. Listen, I mean, I know that everybody can want to listen, but I mean, I think, you know, the conversation was, it was worthy of doing it in two parts. So, you know, like so it does happen. It 100% does happen. You know, so but those conversations that they do, and just to make sure there's no fat in any of the conversation. There's no pauses, because you just lose an audience like that. So, you know, that's what I try to aim for, and it's definitely, you learn it as you go along, and you do like a podcast to edit it a little bit different, you know, and I do like a 5-minute like recap of my life and what the fuck I've been doing, and you know, and you kind of let people know, like, hey, this is 5 minutes of me talking about me, so if you want to skip over that, be my guest.
Well, who is a guest that you want on the show that, for whatever reason, just haven't been able to do it, scheduling conflict, haven't been in contact, ghosting, etc., etc., and who's like the all-time mega dream guest?
To interview, I guess. I mean, I've been trying to get my buddy Schlack on here, but that lazy piece of shit doesn't ever want to do it. I mean, he'll say he'll do it, and then all of a sudden I can get it ready, and then I'll crickets. And I'm just like, oh, that bitch. Like, you couldn't even come up with a fucking excuse, Like, I have a whole lineup. I'm like, but I'll get him eventually, but that's fine. But my dream, somebody I would ever love to get to interview would be like Steve Austin. I would love to do that. Steve Austin, ask him the questions that like aren't the same. Like, well, how did you get started? Like, nobody fucking cares about that. They already know it because they've been told 8 million times.
Right.
Eat potatoes. I get it. That or if I could ever do Vince McMahon, that would be the fucking that would be awesome. But then again, there's guys that aren't in wrestling that I would love to, like Bill Burr. I would absolutely love to have him on there, and Mark Maron. And those are two guys that I listen to their podcasts, and I enjoy the shit out of them. So yeah, if I got to interview anybody like those two, and then obviously in wrestling, Steve Austin or Vince, which would never happen in a million years. But
I mean, he's not giving me anything right now.
No, he's not. So, yeah, maybe I'll give him a call. I'll head down to Connecticut, and knock on his door.
Well, I mean, I did see you in front of WWE Headquarters once.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually, it was sort of wrestling related, but it was an interview for a position at WWE. But I don't even think I would want to do it because I don't want to move to Connecticut.
My question, do they have air conditioner in Connecticut?
Oh, yeah, they do. And I mean, honestly, for the most part, they don't really fucking need it. I mean, when did I go? Like September or something like that. But that was pretty cool. Connecticut's a weird ass. Like a real weird. I don't. There's like nothing there, So I'd probably kill myself there. I wouldn't be able to make it. I'd be so bored.
Now, could you tell us about your love of The Simpsons?
Oh, I love The Simpsons. I mean, it's what can I say about them, man? I mean, it's like the greatest show ever. Obviously right now it's not. I mean, they're still making new episodes. I haven't watched any of them, but I'm obsessed with them. Yeah, I don't have any tattoos, but like I feel like at one point in time, like that, it's gonna be something like Sideshow Bob. It's my favorite character. I feel like something like that's they'll be on me somewhere, maybe on my neck. I don't know.
Get the Cody tattoo.
The what?
Get the Cody tattoo-esque neck tattoo.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, right there. That like a weird, awkward looking fucking neck tattoo. How was he thinking? I'll get like Die Bart Die or something like that.
Well, you was kind of immortalized in the Simpsons-esque font. They made a picture of you. I believe a fan did.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I had gotten a gift from a fan. Me and Moe's Tavern, doing the pose, and I mean it's like it looks like me, and then at the same time you're like, well, that could also be like Matt Justice. So I don't really know. I mean, but I mean I do love it. I mean I have it hanging up inside, and I definitely like appreciate things like that, and I've got Jaws memorabilia and stuff like that. It's my favorite movie. I've gotten earrings and stuff like that. So, some of the fans, man, have been so nice and sweet to me. And then engaging. They know what I like, and they, and I guess bring entertainment to them, and enjoyment to their world, and they kind of like to do it back. So,
Well,
definitely appreciate the little things like this.
let's talk about Jaws for a minute. Tell us about your love of the movie.
Oh, I think it's one of the greatest movies ever made. Um, and the reason why is because of how much the fucking thing, like, you never see the shark for the most part.
Right.
And that wasn't really the original, that wasn't what they wanted to do. The thing didn't work. so
Right.
It actually, by that thing being broken, that the shark not working or whatever, it made for an even better movie. So that, I think that monologue with Quint, and talking about the Indianapolis sinking when he delivered the bomb, is just the best monologue of all time. So it's just one of those movies, man, that I can watch over and over and over again, and I enjoy the shit out of it. And it's like, whether it's seeing the scenes of Martha's Vineyard, and knowing where those places are or whatever. It's just that there's nothing in that movie that I didn't like.
Now, are you pro tell and not show? Because that was the main focus of Jaws, was that you never really got to see the shark. Or do you kind of like to see, a little bit more? Because there was this movie called The Meg a couple years ago, and they really showed the shit out of that shark.
Oh yeah, I mean it's different now. I mean, but movie making is completely different. They're not using animatronics and shit as much, or at all. Everything's CGI, so it's like you really see the hardship in filming while you're watching it. So there's part of it where you're watching the story, you're engaged in the story. It's kind of like wrestling. Like, in wrestling, as a fan, I watch and I get engaged, in the story that these two or whoever that they're telling, right? And I'm locked in. Like, I am, I'm emotionally invested into what they're telling me, right? And then, at the same time, when I watch it as a wrestler, I watch, and I think about how they came up with the story, and I'm like, ooh, yeah, like I see that he's working his arm or whatever, and he's going to go back to it. And I love how, he the guy missed and he hit his arm again, and he went right back to it. I'm starting to feel, I'm like, you're dissecting a match, versus I'm emotionally invested in it. So I go both ways, in wrestling and with that movie, which is, why I like it so much, because there's times where I can,
there's psychology in it.
Shut it off. Yeah, it's like sometimes you can shut it off, and you're just in there, and you're just a fan, and then there are other times where you're like learning from it or something.
Alright. Now, we talked about, this wrestling being a pulp job for you. Even if they gave Kit Osbourne his own cooking show?
I mean, it would be great. I mean, I love I love cooking, man. It's just, and I do different things every once in a while, but I definitely need a crew or somebody to hold my fucking phone. Because right now, like, I'm not doing it tonight, but I bought a Cornish hen, which is like a little chicken.
Yes.
And I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I've never made this before, but I'm like, I'm anxious to try it. So, like, I mean, if I ever got my own cooking show, if IWTV wanted to put somebody good, and they allowed me to, cook on a weekly basis or something like that, I think I'd knock it out of the park. And I like trying new recipes and stuff, and it'd be like dinner in a movie,
Yeah, that sounds, and you got me kind of getting hungry with that Cornish hen.
Yeah, I saw it at the store today. Like, sometimes I just go and I just want to, like, just look around, and then I end up buying $50 to $100 worth of shit, and then I just go, well, fuck it, what I'm doing today. Like,
And what is this ability to cook, love of cooking come from?
I think it's honestly it's like my therapy, man. You know, at the end of a day or at the end of a weekend or something like that, it's like it puts me. You know, it's the one time I'm not glued to my phone. I'm not looking at social media. You know, I'm looking at a recipe and I'm trying to follow it. And of course, like, yeah, like, you know, you'd be thinking like, oh, this is where he's like the most relaxed. It's like, yeah, I don't really know how to be relaxed. I just kind of, it's just I'm yelling about something else, you know. And I think yelling while I'm cooking is just a little bit better than me yelling about, you know, why I'm not on this show or why is this happening? Like, how come this didn't get over as well? Like, what the fuck, you know? And then, and it's I'm stressed about something completely different, and then for some weird reason, to me, that makes it seem like it's healthier. I mean, at the end of it, I get a reward, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah.
What's your?
I mean, most of the time when I cook anyway, I swear to God, I'm just eating while I'm cooking, and then by the time I'm done, all I want to do is just, you know, have my friend come over and try it, so I can watch him. What'd you think? What'd you think? This is what I did. This is what I did. And he's like, dude, kid, I don't give a fuck. All right, just let me eat it.
What's your go-to meal? What's soul food for Kit Osbourne?
I eat a lot of steak. Like, I like cooking steak. I think it's like, you know, getting that sear or whatever, and you know, I mean, I do my eyes closed, but I like that. I make a mushroom soup that Jimmy Lloyd fucking loves. So he always tells me to make it. And I love pasta. Like, and it's I'm trying my best to not, but it is so difficult. You know, so I'll make pasta, a lot of steak, and I make fried chicken, my own fried chicken every once in a while. But yeah, I fuck around with a lot of different things, but steak is usually the thing that I feel like I eat like at least twice a week, which is probably not a good idea.
What's the how you taking that steak? Medium, rare, completely.
Oh, medium rare.
Huh? There you go.
Medium rare.
That's the best way, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, anybody gets it any other way, it's like, dude, why don't you just fuck out of here? You know, it's just...
Alright, on to a controversial subject. Pineapple on pizza. What's your stance?
I fuck with it. I mean, I'm not gonna buy it, you know. But if somebody bought a pie and they have half of it, you know, if I'm in the right frame of mind, you know, I'll try it. I mean, I'll eat it. Like, I'm not try it. Like, I mean, I definitely have enjoyed it, and you know, so I'm not against it. I'm just, you're never gonna see me order it.
Alright. What's your spirit Pokemon?
What is it?
What's your spirit Pokemon?
My spirit Pokemon?
Yes.
I'm not really what's that? The one fire one? Charizard. I don't know. I guess that
Charizard.
one just gets all. Doesn't it just get all pissed off like out of nowhere and then just rain havoc?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm that one.
All right. Weirdest question you'll ever be asked on a wrestling podcast. Would you ever consider wrestling a Rock? Not Dwayne Johnson, not the country, an actual Rock.
Wrestling an actual Rock?
Yes.
I feel as though it wouldn't end very well for me. You know, and you got to really pick your battles. I mean, listen, I'll fuck up. I'll kick that Rock's ass, but you know, at the same time, I mean, what's really in it for me, you know?
Well, he's the world champion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if the title's involved, then yeah, I suppose I see the importance in the match. But I mean, you know, he's just gonna be really stiff. So I'm gonna just, you know, I just have to bite my tongue and just go with it. You know, but we're not going any more than 8 minutes. All right, if he wants like 10 to 12, he could fuck himself. It's gonna be around like 6 to 8. All right, and it's gonna be 90-10 Kit Osbourne. All right, so any promoter that wants me to wrestle a Rock, I hope you fucking understand that.
Alright, Von Vertigo, if you're listening, book the damn match. Just for context, there's this wrestler named Psycho Mike that wrestled an actual Rock for over 15 minutes in what was dubbed a Tungsten Man match, an Iron Man match that lasted for 2 weeks.
Well, send me the clip.
I will send it to you after this.
Yes, I need to see this.
And just so you're aware, it wasn't the first match that they had against each other.
Ooh, it's a series.
It was
All right,
a
I
series
love
of
it.
matches, but that
Ooh,
particular
a Rock feud.
Yes. Alright, we love Tracy Smothers on the show. Do you know the acronym for Doug? THUG.
No, what is that?
T is for terrible, H is for hell, U is for ugly, and G is for jail, 'cause a Doug can't spell.
I love that.
Yeah.
Tracy Smothers ruled too. He's such a nice dude.
Oh, have you had interactions with Tracy?
Yeah. I have a picture with. There's a picture, a candid picture of him and I talking at WrestleMania, New York. And that was. I mean, he's just always so fucking nice to me. And just even just listening to him, just you learn. You always you get those guys, those vets, that talk like a Ricky Morton, and you just sit there and you just want to listen all day. The shit that they've experienced, people they've met and worked with, it's amazing. So yeah, I've had, my experience with Tracy, and R.I.P. But it's a shame that he left so soon.
Right. Yeah, and that's kind of why we do that on the show, to kind of keep the memory of Tracy Smothers alive. Because everybody that we've come into contact that had contact with him hasn't really said a bad word about him.
No, I don't see there's anything that there could be. But I mean, I'm sure they will. But but it is what it is. But that's I can't. I mean, if I whenever the day it is that I go, and nobody has anything bad to say about me, that must mean they didn't know me. So.
On a more serious note, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I would like to say that I'd still be doing this. If I don't know. I think let my body tell me. But we were talking about commentary and things like that. I will definitely be involved in wrestling in some shape or form. I'm not really. I'm not one to. I don't want children. So I love being selfish. I definitely try my luck in a lot of different things. Like I've done short films, commercials, and stuff like that. So if I could, go back and do those things that don't hurt me, I probably will. But in 5 years, man, it's a long time, and I don't even know what I'm eating for dinner tonight. So, I play it by ear and see how my body feels and where my head's at, where I'm living, and who I'm talking to, and go from there.
Alright. Now it is time for the colossal question. They're making a movie about Kit Osbourne. Every movie has a soundtrack. What would be the first 3 songs on the Kit Osbourne movie soundtrack of his wrestling career up to this point?
Oh man, I'm trying to think of what songs I would like for them to be on there. So I would have "Take Your Whiskey Home" by Van Halen.
Sweet.
What else? The Ultimate Sin by Ozzy. Yeah, and I'm trying to think of one more good one. And it's a song that I'm telling you, it's one of the most. I'm like, it was in Dumb and Dumber, and it's called, and I can't think of the band name, but it's called "Too Much of a Good Thing," and definitely check it out. But "Too Much of a Good Thing."
All right. 3 solid picks. Do you lock them in?
What's that?
Do you lock it in?
Do I lock it in?
Yes.
Like my fun? Yeah.
Alright, you are locked in. And what's a match that people should go out of their way to see that best shows off what Kit Osbourne is all about?
One match. I mean, I'd say something I think everybody would love is my match at Cage of Death 20 with The Office. The Office taking on Maria Manic, Jimmy Lloyd, Dan O'Hare. Who the fuck else was in there? Who the hell else was in there? Oh, and Mitch Valley. Sorry. Sorry, Mitch. That match there, and if it, my match with, I mean, they're just memorable ones that mean a lot to me. But my match with Mike Dell at CZW, and also I had a death match in which I had a really great story with Lowlife Louie from H2O, where I kind of attacked his family, and then it built up to this major match, and we knocked it out of the park. So that one as well.
Can we find those on YouTube?
Yeah, they are on YouTube. Like I have them on my YouTube, Kit Osbourne, and you'll look in the matches. It's also on IWTV. It's also on IWTV, and I guess if CZW has CZ Studios still or whatever, then it's on that as well.
Alright, and of course those matches I'll put in the description of the video below, both on YouTube and Castbox, for anybody that wants to go check it out that haven't seen it or wants to see it again after this interview. And of course your YouTube page as well will be there as well.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Alright, and since we are nearing the conclusion of this interview, we are wrestling with the 8 questions of doom.
Dun, dun, dun.
This is our speed round, our bonus round, the round where we see who you really are. Are you ready?
Okay.
Excluding yourself, greatest wrestler of all time.
Shawn Michaels.
Worst wrestler.
Shit. Like David Arquette. I don't know. Hope he doesn't know that I. All right.
You are main eventing WrestleMania for the World Championship. Who is your opponent?
John Cena.
If you could come out to anyone's entrance music, past or present, who would it be?
It would be Steve Austin. Disturbed.
Ooh, that's awesome. Haven't heard that one in a while.
Oh yeah, that fucking song rules.
It really does.
Mm-hmm. I don't think anybody went to the ring to it, but I was gonna say Limp Bizkit's Break Stuff, which I could still fucking do it.
I mean, yeah. Finish the sentence. Kayfabe is
not dead.
We also would have accepted taste great on toast. Squash, fruit or vegetable?
Vegetable.
It's a fruit.
I figure it would be like a tomato type of thing.
The exact same reason.
Yeah.
But you're part of Squash Squad now, and that means a hell of a lot more. New Japan wrestler Taichi, his ring gear gets smaller every year, revealing more of himself to the world. My question, what is the appropriate trunks to butt cheek ratio for ring gear?
It's I'd say it has to be like an inch, like maybe half an inch, below that ass, like the ass cheek. You know what I mean? Like where that it goes in, half an inch. You don't have to wear trunks like Flair, where it was like a big diaper. Like you just gotta, but if it's gotta, I like the idea that if you bend over, guess what? You're not gonna see that tan line.
And the last question, the main event, the thing everybody wants to know. Have you ever had a conversation with a stranger in a supermarket about Darby Allin?
About Darby Allin?
Yes.
No, I have not.
And that is the correct answer. That will conclude this interview. Thank you so much, Kit, for coming on and doing this with us. Well, me.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, man. I had a blast. It was a good and fun one.
Yeah, we try to keep it interesting on Wrestling With. Once again,
well, hey, thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And once again, could you tell us where we can find you on social media, merchandise, everything related to Kit Osbourne?
On YouTube, Kit Osbourne. It's Kit Osbourne on everything: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I have also on Instagram, Uncorked With Kit. I have a page, and then also on Spotify. You can listen to my interviews with a number of your favorite wrestlers and other influencers on Spotify, and that is Uncorked With Kit. And then all my shirts and everything, you just message me through any of my social media. I have new shirts coming out, and I also have fucking pocket sand. So, if you want a little gag gift or something like that, or if you want to throw sand at somebody, there's your chance, and you can do it. And just go through me and then message me, and we'll get it for you.
And all of those links will be in the description of the video below, both on YouTube, Castbox, Google Podcasts. No need to type it into your Google machine. Simply go in the description, click the link, it will give you a new page, and you will be on everything Kit Osbourne. You have no excuse. You've been listening to him for just under an hour and a half, by a damn short. And listen to his podcast as well.
Thank you.
And of course, if you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, both on YouTube and Castbox. Of course, this was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us next Wednesday and every Wednesday afterwards, always with a new interview, always with somebody that you want to hear. Join us, and you can follow the show at Wrestling with E on Twitter for all that information, who will be interviewing, when, where, links to, and everything related to us. And of course, on Instagram at Wrestling with E as well. You can follow me at JamesJ993 on Twitter. You can follow Kaliko at I Am Kaliko. Follow Scooter at Scooter Dust, and of course, on the Remix, the only live alternative commentary for WWE events. A new one coming very soon. Alright, now Kit, when I say Wrestling With, you say entertainment.
Oh, you got it.
For our very special guest, Kit Osbourne, Kaliko Yachts, Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling With
Entertainment.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show. Support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.